Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Enough channel. In this video we're going to review round 18 of the 2025 AFL Supercoach season. So I guess, continuing the struggle in this game. Only scoring a 22.03 this week, which seen us drop another 1,000 and almost 1,500 spots in the ranks. I guess the only takeaway is we do have a league win this week, which is something. But if we have a look at the team, it is absolute carnage. So the defensive line starts off pretty good. Geordie Clark with a 125 is fantastic. McKercher and Sheasel, the North Melbourne double up, doing the job with a 110 and a 123. And then it starts to fall off. Fryer with the 29. Mills with just the 55. Tom McCarthy fortunately doing the job with an 87. So he's still averaging 100 after 4 games. Has made 180k more or less. 176, close enough. Still got negative break even. So definitely cheapie of the year sort of territory there. We do have a bit of cover on the bench though, which is handy. Carroll and McDonald both getting a gig this week. And we could have used that 44 or 46 given what Fryer turned out for us. In the midfield, so we had Butters, was originally our captain with a 154, and that would have been nice. But the Bont Masterclass 174, so we obviously took that as the VC score, as the captaincy score. Dacos with an 85 was a bit flat. His brother absolutely brained it though. Finn Callahan with the 94 was a little bit underwhelming. Brayshaw with the 121 was fantastic. Merritt with the 96 was okay. Might have a big target on his head given all the injuries there at Essendon. But, we're sticking with him for the long haul. And then Tuke Miller. So with Caldwell seemingly out for the season, as I get rid of the survey there, I thought, well, we're going to use the trade, be aggressive. We do have Noddy on the bench as a bit of cover. We can obviously also cycle in a defender if we need to. So I thought I want to target the Suns just because I guess they're technically my team. I'm not the biggest AFL fan, but I do hope the Suns go alright. And, I was tossing up between the big three there of Rowell, Anderson, Miller. And I think it just come down to ownership. I think Tuke was a little bit under owned. He was averaging 100 and a lot for the season, so I thought he'll just be solid scoring. We'll just see what we can get. And he drops a 45 while Anderson and Rowell go off. So I know it's not a 1 week play, but it doesn't give you a lot of confidence when it starts like that. Clary with a 94, given he's averaging 90 for the year, we take that. And as we said, we've got Noddy on the bench with a 63, which is alright. In the rucks, we're in a bit of trouble. So Cherry, 57, so don't know if that was injury affected, but sounds like he might miss a few weeks suspended. So obviously we've got TDK in the flex, but it does mean that we're running 22 every week, which is not ideal. And Gorney just sitting on the bench because obviously we wanted to loop in Bont's score. So a 112 from Max is fantastic. And then in the forwards, so Jackson, Bailey Smith, both a bit underwhelming. But then Nick Martin, unfortunately, doing an ACL. So I only copped to 15, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, I would have dropped that score out. I did have a full team this week. So, yeah, not great. And obviously no more trades to do anything. And the forward line is probably where we are struggling for numbers. Daniel with a 102, that was quite good. Sam Darcy, sweet. 79, hasn't quite kicked on since we traded him in, but we don't really have a choice at this point. Elijah Hewitt with a 51, is just what he can do. And Shanahan was quite good again with the 73. So looks like he'll be getting a run for the rest of the season. So hopefully he can hold his spot in the team. TDK as well with the 79. So it sounds like he's playing a bit more of a forward role and the second ruck, which yeah, it's not really what we wanted him for. But yeah, again, no trades, no alternatives there. So in terms of the matchup this week, did get a win over Frogs Galore, Lockie's team with a 1980. So it's good to see someone else is struggling like myself. Actually, that's not a nice thing to say. But looking through, maybe the captain on merit wasn't ideal. But just looking through, not a lot of big scores. You know, had Butters, which I matched, and Sheasel. But, you know, I got tons from Clark, Brayshaw, Gorn, McKercher. And I think in return it was like just a, you know, low ton for Rankin, Sinclair, Marshall on the dot. But looking at some of the others, like Nass had quite a week. Rosie, I think, copped an injury as well. So a bit of misfortune there as well. But I think there's very few teams without. In saying that, can see a 2500, which is a nice score. Couple of 2500s, but the winner for this week, Fab, with a 2637. Holy tomorrow. So let's have a look. So he had Dunkley score a 150, who was in my thoughts for that last midfield trade. But as I said, I wanted to go a Suns option. Josh Dacos with a 198. So that's unreal. Well done to anyone who got on the other Dacos, I suppose. Lloyd Meek with a 151 in the ruck. So must have played West Coast or something. I don't remember. I say that, it's probably right. I know, played Freo and got a 151. So not bad off the couple of big scores. I can see, and I guess, you know, if Cherry's out, he makes sense as a sort of sideways option. Maybe, you know, you want to get out of TDK for another ruck. Don't hate it. But also had the Bond Jordan Dawson with a 157, so some monster scores there. Just trying to look at the lowest score, so maybe 76 for Adam Chera, 73 for Bailey Smith. So, you know, if they're your lowest scores this week, it's a pretty nice place to be. Oh, so Liddy come back and made some more cash, which is nice. Good stuff. Well done, Fab. Have a bit of a look at some other outstanding performances this week. We've hit the first three. As I said, Matt Rowell, 156. So, you know, that's a 100-point swing on Took this week. Grundy continues to kill it, so I think if you can get to him, he's expensive, but you know, TDK, Cherry not doing good. I think it's Gorn and Grundy, the old firm, back for the rest of the season as R1, R2. Windhager, so 152 for him. That was unexpected. 3 round of 112, so it's been going alright. Give us a look at the other scores. Is it just the 150 carrying that? Oh, a pair of 90s. So well done to the 0.5% that are on Marcus Windhager. Thilthorpe with a 149 could be a sneaky pod in the forward line with a 90 average. You know, particularly if you've got the trades to move on from Nick Martin. Noah Anderson, so, you know, close enough to a 100-point swing on Took Miller. Unlucky, but yeah, you can see, what were they? They were, yeah, 16%, 15%, and, you know, like their season average 116 and 111 was pretty comparable with Took's. Maybe Anderson's was a bit higher. Probably should have done Anderson in hindsight, but it is what it is. Archie Roberts, so I think he featured in the high scores another week too. So yeah, so he's actually been scoring decently, couple of hundreds, but maybe I'm thinking of someone else there. Ollie Wines, 143, Super Pod there. Joe Richards, I don't even know anything about. Super Pod, 142. Season average of 75 suggests that is a one-off. Ed Richards has been good too. Could have gone with him this week. Over Took. But yeah, Horn Francis is back, so probably bottomed out in price. So I can imagine he'd probably be the number one target. I probably haven't looked too closely at the trades at the moment. Trade in, so Gorney number one. Okay, that makes sense. Harvey is the cheapie. We'll look at the cheapies in a minute. Meek, so I guess everyone trying to fix up their ruck situation. Cherry to Conning, top 10 trade outs. Teague Miller getting traded out, so a few people jumping off. Hopefully that means good things for me as an owner. But Grundy's there as well. Horn Francis though, number 4, so probably top forward premium trade-in. But yeah, so this will obviously change throughout the week. But yeah, as we said, we'll look at the cheapie. So I'm guessing Cooper Harvey would be pretty good. So negative 86 break even off 84 and a 74. So yep, would be the one to bring in this week. Shanahan looks like he's going to make some good money. Hopefully, again, it's all about job security. What I'm considering at the moment with the way my team is. Nick Madden probably needs an injury to come back. George Stevens only a 34 this week off 90 in his first game, so probably not really worth a consideration unless there's a reason for that 34. Campbell Gray, what's he back anytime soon? Could be back. So if you held on to him, there might be some more cash. Could be super helpful as well if you can sort of flip him with Nick Martin to cover some bases. Other than that, a couple of DNPs. Rowan Steele, bottom dollar midfielder. So if you're absolutely desperate for cash out and playability, maybe him. Anyone else on the bubble? Lorenz played a second game and only scored an 8. That's a bit stiff. O'Farrell went alright this week if you got on him. Liddy, as we said, is going to make some more money. Go Blakiston, so 70, that might be his highest score. So I guess maybe if you're trying to do something sneaky with a cheap ruck, possibility. Max Heath played one game, so might be a one to watch, particularly forward ruck flexibility could be really handy moving forward. Particularly if you got like a Luke Jackson in your team. Yeah, a few of the other names we know. Archer May's still kicking alright. Probably too late to get on now at 206k, but yeah, Tom McCarthy still got a negative BE, which is fantastic for owners. How highly owned is he? 53% of teams, lovely. So I don't know what half the competition's doing. May have just given up entirely. Can't blame them. It's hard to get up and about when you got no trades left, and you can just see your ranks slowly fading away. But in terms of setup this week, pretty simple stuff. We have to bring Shanahan in. I think Simpson's still another week away. I think he's estimated around 20, so we may get a little bit of cover back there. But let's just slip Gorn back in. I mean, it's unlikely Boyd plays, but I think it's less likely Cherry plays for the next few weeks. And everything else is as per the program. So, in terms of the VC and C, so you've got Essendon GWS, I think. Callahan the VC, just because Essendon is struggling with injuries. So, maybe Callahan can fill up. Outside of that, you could look at the Bont up at the Gala on a Friday night. Maybe if you've got Dunkley, you could go there too. Maybe if you got Meek, he'd be a really sneaky VC in the early one against Port. And then Grundy, I guess without Cherry in the team, Brodie Grundy could absolutely fill up. More of a captaincy shout if you've got him. Melbourne, so you could do Gawn against Pitney and TDK. Um, West Coast Richmond, so I guess I don't know if there's any stand. Maybe Tom McCarthy could fill up. Who knows? Geelong at GMHBA, some Bailey Smith maybe. Um, yeah, so I'm not too sure on who to captain exactly. I'm just thinking maybe just someone like a Bont, on Friday. If it doesn't work out, we'll just keep it safe. Yeah, so Frio's playing at the MCG, so maybe Dacos at the MCG. Hmm, not too sure. I guess there's a bit to play out this week. Um, I might have a look at the trends a bit later in the week, but I think Callaghan VC for sure, and then we'll work the captaincy out. But yeah, that's the team for this week. Might spend a bit more time in future weeks looking at other people's teams and that sort of thing. Um, Actually, how many more rounds have we got of the league before the finals? So only 2 more weeks until finals. So might just have a quick look at the table and sort of see how everyone's sitting. Haven't done that for a while. So Reno's top ups and Tommy Gunn Powell sitting on a 13-4 record. So pretty comfortable chances of a top 2 finish, which is always handy with Supercoach. East Valley United, Matt's team, with the 12-5 record, so good chance of that top 4. But then we've got a few teams, 11-6. So City Sushi, Lee's team, Lachlan's team, Hedges, and Scoregasms with an 11-6. So pushing for that top 4 spot and the second crack in the finals. After that, we've got 4 teams on 10-7. So Just Torpet, the Milkers, Gift Built, and Kickass. So Jim's team. Jared playing for a bit of luck there with a 9-8 record, and then I think the rest of us are just trying to scrape into the minor final. So, and having a look at that, I'm not exactly locked in there, 16th place, but only 1 win ahead of Ours Eagles and Frogs Galore. So, yeah, there's a few things to shake out there. In terms of total points, so Shano and Matt still doing well. Well done, guys. Good stuff. Although I think I always forget which way it goes, but maybe Shano dropped a few ranks this week, given it was a 23.71. So that's a bit stiff, but definitely up in the areas I'd love to be. So I'm still jealous. How am I sitting in terms of overall? 17th, yeah. So and that's gonna slide back. So I might be hopefully not down with these guys, but we'll see how it all pans out. So yeah, I think now we can probably wrap up the video. I was going to do it before, but we'll throw in the shout outs and stuff. So yeah, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add to this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the AFL content. Subscribe for all the other fantasy sports stuff we've got on the channel, just because this sort of stuff's winding up. I know FPL's coming up soon. The NBL won't be too far off either, so get around that. But other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.